season champions, but they've been to the Elite Eight 3 times. They have yet to be able to crack that Final Four, and they're close, and they've got a group that could potentially, with the right seeding, have an opportunity because they can score.
Shook will look for 3 and knock that down. First basket for
wide, and that's what Florida State did, because what you do is put pressure on transition defense. Guarding teams off the bounce and guarding teams in transition are the hardest things to do defensively.
Off the deflection, back out to Shook for another 3. Good.
Look how you save your timeouts for late in the game in a possession-for-possession game so that you can advance the ball as an option.
Shook may have just bothered another shot with the long arm. Will she be rewarded the other way? Hard off the back iron.
Coach Semrau.
Rebound and out. Offensive rebound. Jones, they cannot buy a bucket right now. They're under 30. Is the 10th turnover for Florida State, resulting in 13 Louisville points in that first half. They'll get a second opportunity here.
Jasmine Jones, 1 for 6 in the first half, Beth. They'd like to get her going in the second.
Kylee Shook is back out there after limited minutes.
Yeah, this is who I'd go to, no question.
Gillespie gets a touch, backs down the defender, and bounces out.
What a great ATO, just Gillespie didn't finish. 2 best players on the floor, Gillespie and Evans. Can they make enough plays for their respective team?
Kylee Shook back into the game out of the timeout. The nice pass to a streaking Jones.
Hips and shoulders past the defender's hip. Motors to the bucket.
Louisville did not have that ball in the hands of the right shooter that last possession. Evans, 2-man game with Shook. Got it.
There need to be a spark again, and similar play to how Louisville turned it over on their first possession. Shook. A little short.
And they are tough on that end of the floor.
Jeff Walls, a finalist for the Naismith Coach of the Year, and Dana Lewis looking to drive against Dunham. You hear all about the shot blocking of Shook, but Dunham's such a big defensive presence for Louisville too.
He is their communicator, their anchor, their toughness.
Balogun, what a fake, just set that up right over the top, set up Shook. Jones off the glass.
Lewis has shown us a lot of explosiveness on the offensive end this season. Really was a big candidate for most improved. As we've talked about so many improved players on this court, she is at the top of that list.
Lewis also an All-ACC first.
To score one-on-one. She's done that pretty consistently in recent games. But that was a dead ball. So what is Syracuse doing? They're setting up the pressure.
Shook. Jolie Topley backed off of her. That went off the foot of Dia.
Everybody else needs to join in on that.
Cooper just 2 of 4, though, when she got there. Evans just hung around, put herself in the passing lane. And Evans nearly outscoring Syracuse herself in the first half. She had 12.
Made up for that missed shot at the rim. Kylee Shook got to get to play as many minutes as I'm sure she would like to have in that first half because of foul trouble.
Right now.
Thinking about when they're going to get to check in. Takes all in to do something special this time of year.
Telling her what she needs to do to develop, but at the beginning of the year when she came in as a freshman, she told him how good she wants to be, and he has decided that he's going to stay on her, and he is as pleased as anybody to watch the development that she's made, and that Defensive Player of the Year is a huge honor.
Tech almost a double-double. Lorella Kabai led them in rebounding. And this is where Louisville almost had a transition opportunity, but this is where Syracuse really misses Tiana because she could get everyone involved on the offensive end. She would make big plays offensively and defensively to spark her team. We've seen these moments this year where you just saying, can't wait to see her back on the
up and down kind of year.
Yeah, they had some impressive non-conference wins. Tough non-conference schedule, but you know, just a challenging one, and just getting ready for ACC play, but it is not.
Clemson with 7.
Nice take there by the senior Gabby Cooper.
First field goal for Cooper. Senior trying to get a little better taste in the mouth of the orange than what they've shown so far. Shook.
That's an impressive stat line for Dana Evans.
ACC Player of the Year, on the National Player of the Year lists as well. A player who had 3 years as a starter at Pittsburgh, missed 1 year her junior year with an injury. She was over 1,000-point scorer with the Panthers, but did not get to taste much success. Now she's had to find out where and how she fits on this very successful Louisville team.
Yeah, I was looking, and I didn't realize she had redshirted an injury year at Pitt. Like, that's a lengthy career, and that's a lot of perseverance through injury.
Second oldest player in this league, along with her still on the floor, trying to help give a little life to Syracuse. Colomé rounded out.
Syracuse had gotten a few more of those momentum shots to fall. But that's the system they play. Live and die by the 3.
Florida State. How's that for the oddity of the way the draw worked out for the top-seeded team in the tournament?
It's either giving confidence to Syracuse and Florida State, or it's a revenge game for Louisville, where they're licking their chops like, yeah, you got the best of us in the regular season.
The coaches love anything that will give their team that extra chip on their shoulder. That's what Jeff Walz talked to Kelly about at halftime.
We've got to have it, because this year, at this point of the year, it's been a long season.
Her evolution.
Kylee bottled up by Shook. That's the matchup you talked about.
Neither post player can get anything going. It's tough to score on either side of the court right now, as we're seeing some really physical defense being played in the paint.
Shook can do this as well, stretch you out, but a little bit too strong. Second chance, nice! Virginia Tech just is scuffling on offense. That's 6 possessions and 0 points.
And credit Louisville's defense. They have been excellent so far. Kylee Shook, looks like she slowed down a bit. I felt like she was trying to make her move so quickly in the beginning part of the first quarter.
Kylee lost Shook.
Well, Pam.
Out jumped Evans. Balagoon.
Wow, what a block. Balagoon with those long arms.
Shook had the height advantage over Cole and took advantage.
Incredibly impressive finish. Tech is at its best when they can get out in transition. Taja Cole leading the break and finding their shooters, Shepard and Mabry, spotting up.
It's a 6-0 Tech run. Shook's first miss from distance.
RPI safely there in the top 35, which is good news for the Hokies.
Yeah, the Hokies split with Duke. They lost them in overtime in the first game they played, and as you mentioned, just a huge win against Duke, who's been playing very well down the stretch. That is a sweet move by Shook.
Beautiful this game plan. She's played 15 minutes, so maybe she's come out for a second, but could be a little fatigue there for Cole.
Casa Robinson gets it over to Evans, back in with 2 fouls. Evans just streaked by Cole, and then Shook.
Just a little bit. Tech is trying to force it to Kylee because she has been so effective for them, but they can't afford to do that, because then you're just not making the right play in the offense.
And Mabry out of the game now. Kayla King, the freshman, back in, number 22 for Virginia Tech in their spiffy black uniforms.
Those black uniforms. Something tells me we're going to talk about them later on in this broadcast.
Yeah. Taja coming back. This is the first game she has played here in an opposing uniform. Played her freshman year here, and Kenny Brooks did talk to her last night after the team film session to see where she was feeling. Jasmine Jones, first game where North Carolina thought appeared to have the game in hand before the last second putback. To Carolina women playing at the top of the hour on ESPN2 on this final day of the women's regular season. Mikasa Robinson into Shook. Mikasa!
Wow. What a...
Second Monday of October.
Of course.
Yes.
I definitely knew that.
Yes, and they were that's very sweet. Coach Brooks says that the kids come over, his 2 daughters on the team, so a lot of the teammates are there, and they celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving with Dennis, which was a nice touch.
Something to watch for Virginia Tech next year. They'll return Asia Shepherd, they'll return Dara Mabry, and they'll return Kendall Brooks, Coach Brooks' daughter, who's out with an injury. All 3 of those Hokies are top 10 in school history in three-pointers made. So they are going, if you think they can shoot it well this year, bringing back Brooks, having another year for Mabry, another year for Shepherd, they're going to be lights out.
Yeah, the question would be, how do you replace Taja Cole as Shook turns
Keep an eye on, especially if they go on a miraculous run in Greensboro, they could play their way in.
Yeah, and a great job. I know that's your coach of the year, right?
Yes, Coach Matt, Coach Burnaby McNamee at BC. BC has been a doormat in this league for almost the past decade. They've really struggled, and so for her to come in and change that, but it has just been, you know, a really deep year in women's basketball, which has been great.
Lemley. Diop able to come up with yet another rebound. The crowd is cheering for Lemley to shoot again. Shook takes it.
Lemley gets her assist right